The only kind of exposure you have as a student to like what maybe a client would say to you is at a review, when you have a critic that just like brings something that's kind of like, okay, well, but that's it. Like there is the other side is never talking to you,
Yeah, I know.
It's weird.
I know. And in school, we can make up these rules. We have a site boundary, and here's a setback, right?
We have a program.
You have the zoning for this thing. You have a program, right? You have a client. You're going to go talk to people who are in the community who are like real clients. But it's still it's like you're playing house. I don't know if you have that in France.
Yeah.
And your kids, you make up rules. They're rules, but they're not really rules, Like, is there a different weight to them when if you don't adhere to the zoning code, you just don't get approved. Period. It doesn't get built. Like it's not the same thing in school. It's like, are you within the site boundary? And this is a mid review. It's like, okay, fix that. But let's talk about all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you were working on a real project and you had a client meeting and you're halfway through the project and they were like, does this fit within the site boundary? Or I'm like, they wouldn't say, well, let's talk about the other things. They'd be like, what the hell are you doing? I'm about to fire you, right? Like you wasted all my time and money. Process and outcome is another thing I wrote down. And this is sort of similar to what we're talking about right now. In school, there's much more concern with the process because it's an educational environment. So we're concerned about, so there's a couple ways to understand what I mean by that we're concerned with process. One is that in school, we're concerned with the work of the process, meaning the diagrams, the drawings, the presentations, all of that stuff, right? I don't necessarily mean that, although that's true. What I mean by process is that because it's an educational environment, the entire institution and the world you live within is much more concerned about your growth, which is process. So like for most teachers, if a project in the end is not great, but the student learned a lot, you would take that into account when grading. That matters a lot. Or even if they did not do well in the end, but they worked really, really hard and had some trouble and they overcame those adversities, that counts for a lot. So the process and the growth is just like accounts for a significant portion of what matters. In practice, no one gives a fuck about any of that, right? I don't care how hard you work from the client. I don't really care how hard you worked. I don't really care about like all the different drawings you did and stuff. I might find it interesting because I have an interest in that. And I might find it valuable because I have an interest in it, right? So I'm getting some kind of knowledge out of it. But really, no.
But again, that's because, practice is not school.
Yeah.
Practice is a business. And what matters is how much you're bringing to the business.
Yeah.
In any job, no one cares about your personal development. Like,
not really.
Unless you're, I don't even know what profession would care about that. But, like...
Yeah.
It's an exchange of goods. I give you money against, you give me your services, your design services.
And there's levels. I mean, of course, like employers should care about growth. Of course, I don't know why clients would care because it's not their organization. But like you have to think about, bottom line, what is the most important thing in this setting? In school, it's education, right? And future success, not current success, future success. In practice, it's not education. The most important thing that matters most is whatever the client says, right? And they don't really care about your growth or your education. And they don't really care about your future success in a lot of cases. They care about the product, the building, the final physical building that's there. When it's done, I can see it, I can touch it, I can feel it. People are using it. That's what I care about.